Westworld Season 3 just got weird. Massive spoiler alert for anyone who has not seen the second episode yet, you have been warned. This episode had Maeve and Hector escaping Nazis, Bernard discovering that Thor's brother is a host, and David Benioff and D.B. Weiss try to chop up a dragon like they chopped up the final season of Game of Thrones. But all of that does not matter because Maeve was in a simulation the whole episode. My name is Danny Heifetz, and this is What in the Westworld. We start out with Maeve escaping a World War II-themed Westworld park where she is fleeing Nazi-occupied Italy. Hector comes to save Maeve in a sick ride, but once they get to their plane, Maeve realizes Hector has no idea who she is. So Maeve pulls her old Season 1 tricks and commits suicide and meets up with Sizemore, who has somehow survived getting shot at the end of Season 2. Except plot twist, no he didn't! Maeve realizes he is a simulation of Sizemore. He is not real either. In fact, none of this is real! The whole world she is in is a simulation! Her mind, her hard drive, her consciousness has been placed in a computer network! Now she has to figure out how to get out! How do you get out of a cage that doesn't exist? So she decides to overload the system by asking it the square root of -1, which is like how you overload your computer if you never close any of your tabs. But Maeve realizes that if she wants to get out, she can't just make the computer simulation freeze. She has to make the simulation crash. So she gives all the technicians the same math problem and then pits all the Nazis against each other. This crashes the simulation and she is able to hack into the drone host at the real location where her hard drive is. The robot takes her hard drive out of the network and tries to escape, but is shot dead. Maeve wakes up again, but this time she is in the real world, or so we think, talking to Serac, the guy who co-founded the AI company Insight and put her in the simulation. Serac tells Maeve he wants her to kill Dolores, and Maeve is like, nah bro, and tries to stab him. But he freezes her, which we haven't seen anyone be able to do since Season 1. He walks away with Maeve terrified. Bernard is also terrified when he discovers Stubbs in Ford's closet, where he kept all of his other Bernards. Look, everyone has one weird closet in their house. Stubbs shot himself, but Bernard patches him up and they go looking for Maeve. They discover Maeve's brain is gone, and then Bernard decides to do some introspection of his own and plugs himself into his own network. Bernard does a sweep of himself, tries to find some bugs, and it is heavily implied that Dolores has tried to delete some of his memories, but didn't actually empty the trash can when she did it. Stubbs beats a bunch of QA guys even though he brought an axe to a machine gun fight, and then he and Bernard leave the island and they head for the mainland together. So what does this all mean, other than Elon Musk is ghostwriting this season? This episode asks, what is reality? Even Maeve, in the beginning of the episode, said she understood the nature of her reality, and she was wrong. What we think we know at the end of the episode is that Maeve is sitting down with the architect of the centralized AI, and he explains that they are already in a war.
We are in the middle of a war, and I need your help to win it.
We presume this war is between humans and hosts, and that Dolores is the only person on the planet that AI can't predict. So Serac wants Maeve to kill Dolores so everything can be predictable again. That's the surface level, but now that simulations have been introduced, we cannot help but ask if the whole world we're watching, even the human world, is a simulation. We even heard a character ask this question in the first episode of this season.
How fucking ironic would it be if they had put a simulation within a simulation?
My head hurts. This episode is asking us to ask ourselves, what is reality? Westworld has previously tried answering that question with, in Season 1, if you can't tell what's real, does it matter? And then in Season 2, saying that what's real is that which is irreplaceable. Now the show is asking the question head on and going right to the heart of René Descartes. I think, therefore I am. If you think, you know you exist, but how do you know what else is real in the world? It turns out, we don't know much. It seems like the only person who has any confidence about what's real is Serac, and he isn't even thinking about right now.
I don't concern myself with the present. My business is the future.
The future of this season seems to be coming down to Maeve versus Dolores. This episode is titled The Winter Line, which references the Allied fortifications against the Nazis in World War II. But it also could reference the battle lines being drawn between Maeve and Dolores. Maeve and Serac are wearing white, while Dolores has been wearing black. So what does this mean for William? The man in black is apparently now wearing white? We haven't seen him in Season 3 yet, but we know we're going to soon.
Welcome to the end of the game.
Actually, it sounds like the game is just starting. That's what we think is real about episode 2 of season 3 of Westworld. Check back here every week to figure out what in the Westworld is going on.